Hello everyone, it's Niven, and today I am making CopperCube 6 tutorial video. CopperCube 6 is a free game engine. The link is down in the description. You can download it and you can follow along. I made several tutorials about basics. I made tutorials about first-person setup, about terrains, about different behaviors, and also textures and prefabs. But today I will be specifically talking about third-person setup. And this was asked numerous times by my subscribers, so I'm making this tutorial. If you want to follow along, once again, you can download the CopperCube 6 game engine, which is in the description. The link is there. Now, before I go and create a game, we should discuss third-person cameras in game development. As you can see, I have created a collage of different third-person games and, well, mostly horror, but I want you to have example of third-person cameras and how different they are from each other. So the first one being Alan Wake, a game which was published in 2010, and you can see the third-person camera in this game is far-sided, far right-sided. So that's another way to approach the game. You have Resident Evil 2 Remake, which was created in 2019, and for me it's one of the greatest games, horror games. And as you can see, the camera is not far, but it's a bit of fixed to the left side. Of course, during the game you can switch the sides, but the difference between Alan Wake and Resident Evil 2 is that the Resident Evil 2 Remake has the fixed camera, where the camera is always behind the character, and of course you can use the mouse to orient around the character, the player. Very different, we have Tormented Souls 2021. Now, Tormented Souls is an amazing game. You can go and download and play it. It's not free, but it's an amazing game, and it gives homage to older third-person games where environment and the camera is active, which means that the character is staying fixed into the center and the camera moves around, and of course there are different fixed cameras which I'll be going over in the tutorial. But basically, CopperCube 6 at this point gives you the ability to create third-person look which is more similar to Tormented Souls rather than, for example, Alan Wake or Resident Evil 2 Remake. Although I've given a specific example of Super Mario 64, which was published in 1996, and one of my subscribers and fans asked me about it, if they could make a game like Super Mario 64, and my answer is yes. Now, why yes, and why can't you make Resident Evil 2 Remake style game? Because as you can see, Super Mario 64 and Tormented Souls have that same centered character, and the camera is going around them, which means that the camera is active but the character is kind of not. Where in other games like in Alan Wake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and many other third-person games which I have not mentioned here, the camera is not active but it's fixed to the player and the player does all the action. Of course, those are some of the examples. You can go and Google any third-person games and always try to research the game which you want to make before making it. And we are back with CopperCube 6, and now we can create a third-person setup. First of all, we go to our Scene Graphic Explorer and delete the cube. This cube has done nothing to us, but we have to delete it. Once again, I'm telling this in every tutorial. We should know that there are 5 main windows. There is Scene Graphic Explorer, there are Properties, there are Prefabs, Textures, and the main window where everything happens. Now let's go to the prefab section, which I talked about in my prefabs tutorial, and pick a character which is made and has all the animations already imported. Let's pick on the animated man. As you can see, this animated man is fully functional. If you go down to the properties and you go to attributes, you have that specific item, the character has animation, which is walk, and all the different animations. We can click on run, we can click on attack walk, we can click on stand, and he just stands. We can click on aim, we can click on pistol shot, and we can click on hit. He gets hit, as you can see, and idle A, which is him just chilling. Now let's do just walking, which is the default. I talked about this in my prefabs tutorial, but I will be talking about this here too. You can create your own character using Blender, using other engines which allow you to import animations which you created for the character, the rigged animations, and you can make a prefab from that. For example, if you don't want this guy's animation, you can go and create your own character and your own animation. One of the most used animation tools, which is actually free and it's online, is Mixamo, and I will be giving a link in the description. You can check this out. You can sign up for free and you can log in and download different characters and different animations. You can create your own rigs from those characters, and you can use different game engines, for example Unity, Unreal, and Blender also, and create some of the best and most unique characters which you want to be imported in your game. And there are some different character animations which you can use. There are many characters which you can go and scroll, and there are also different animations. As you can see, we go here and we have all those different scenes, different characters. We have zombies, we have the infamous Jill zombie woman, which is used in many games. We have ninja, we have just mannequin, and you can apply different animations to them. You can apply animations, for example, like jumping down. You can apply animations like idle, like zombie idle, and then you can download those when you click on download, and it asks you to sign in. I have my own account, of course, and sometimes I use this. Actually, I have been using this a lot more, especially in my new games, because I want those games to look better, more polished. So I use those, and they are free. Of course, some of them cannot be used for commercial uses, but you can make simple games from them, or you can actually import. For example, upload a character. If you click on upload, it says please sign in to download. If you click on upload character, you can make your own character and then upload it and just give them any animations you want, and then you can own that character and you can use it as a prefab and make a third-person camera setup attached to that character. Now, I will be going over third-person setup for Copper Cube 6 slowly, so you can catch up and you can follow along. Before that, I want to say a very important thing, and before just creating any game, but specifically third-person game, you should know that most games in the stores and on free market are first person. You can go search any genre. You can go search shooter games, platformer games, and you can go search horror games, which I'm a fan of, for example. There are mostly first person, and I hate to say this, but third-person games are hard to do. And you can see third-person games made by AAA studios because they have time and they can afford that pleasure. And third-person games are always great because you can actually see the character and be more immersed in the game, although first-person gives you that POV style gameplay. But third-person games are really hard to do, and before making anything or brainstorming, you should always search, research, and always write down the things you need before creating a third-person game. Personally, I've never created a third-person game, although I know all the setups, I know all the differences and all the behaviors, but it's very difficult. So I just wanted to say that before starting this tutorial. Now let's go and make third-person setup. Yeah, so we have the character, which I imported. I showed you. That's a prefab. Now we need to create a ground. Let's go create terrain, and we should create default terrain without trees, grass, and just click OK. And as you can see, we have character, and when we go to publish, test, and the character just moves, and the camera moves around them. Now, we need a camera, right? We need a camera to follow the player. We go to create, we go to camera, we go to third-person camera, which we haven't done before. I talked in my basics tutorial about these camera setups. We have the simple camera, first-person, free-flying, model viewer, panorama, and we have third-person camera, which we need in this case. This creates a third-person view style controlled camera which follows a user-controlled object. Now let's click OK, and we have a little pop-up which tells us to select a node to follow the... which node? Startup skybox, man, terrain, directional light, the camera itself? No. We should click on the man. OK, and now it is attached to the man. And if you press publish, you can see the camera is not moving. What's wrong? Did I do something wrong? No, I didn't. The point is that we haven't attached any behaviors to the character. And this is the tricky part. We go to the Scene Graph Explorer and click on Man. We go down to behaviors. I haven't talked about behaviors, and I will be making a separate video about behaviors, but just bear with me and don't press anything until I say so. You go click on add a new behavior. You don't pay attention to any of those and go to game behaviors, and we have game actor with health, and we have object or person controlled by keyboard. We click on that, and it creates a fully controllable object, or in this case, a person. Now, if we click on publish, we have this guy who goes around, and this is it. This is basically a third-person camera setup, and he can also run. And we have a little bit of clipping there. As you can see, the camera kind of jumps. Now we need to fix all this, right? We can't have the game like this. First of all, we need to have collision for the character. Now if we go down, and you can see the character is not touching the ground, but we can make him touch the ground like this. And if we click on publish, oh, what does it do? It kind of goes into the mountain, right? We shouldn't have that. Now we need to have another behavior on the character. We should go back to behaviors, click on add a new behavior, and collide when moved. And we'll get this sphere, which we actually have gotten for the first-person camera, if you remember. Now, this is very important. Please pay attention. We have this sphere going under the ground. Now if we just click on test, we'll have something like this. Oh, what does this do? This character doesn't move properly because we go to collide when moved properties, the relative position is not the same as the size. Now it should be the same as the height, which is 12. Why? Because if we go and click on relative position and if we click on 12, this is what it will make. As you can see, it will make something like this. So the collision box will be under the character, but what we need is the collision box to be inside the character. And we have very simple trick. We go to relative position and click on -12. And now if we click on enter, here it is, all fixed inside the person. And now as you can see, we have collision for the character. And now he can go freely and have a normal collision. If we press on play, you can see the character has much better movement. Well, kind of. It still has that not touching the ground aspect to it. And you can, exercise and you can kind of experiment with the movement. I personally do -12.4, so the feet will be touching the ground, and it's very tricky to just place it exactly under, like that. Hold on. Yes. We click on play and now it looks more like the person is on the ground. It looks a bit more like the person is on the ground. Although, once again, the position is very different. As you can see, now we fixed basically the character. Now we need to fix the camera. So the camera is really far and we can't make the camera be from the back and face the character from the back like this, like that. And now if you click on play, we have this on the character. Now as you can see, what the camera does is it goes around the the person, and if we start running, shift, it kind of clips. This is a problem with the camera. If we make it move a bit closer, like that, we'll have the same type of problem. But this is the basic idea and the basic setup for the third-person camera. This is it. This is that easy. Now I want to show you one more thing which you can make with a third-person camera, which is a bit more advanced, but I will be making an advanced third-person camera tutorial. You can go and create a terrain. Let's start with that. Click OK. We create animated man, import that character. Now, as I told you, we should go to behaviors, click on behaviors, game behaviors, and object person controlled by keyboard. We can go and create another behavior which is collide when moved. Always remember relative position to the size and minus, which is -12, but I prefer -12.4. You can do that too. So let's create on the man. Hold on. So yes, man, we can create collide when moved. I don't know why this didn't create. Oh yeah, now it did. So it's -12.4. Here it is, and we have a character once again. But now this character doesn't have a camera. It just, does this weird thing. We don't have active camera inside the window. What we should do is go create camera, a simple camera, not without first person, shooter, or third person, and click OK. And now this creates a camera which is a fixed camera. Now what does that mean? If we click on publish, I miscalculated the position once again. Let's get this camera close to the character like that. And now if we press on play, you can see there is a camera, but it's not moving, although we can see the character is moving. Now this is what's called a fixed camera angle, which was used mostly in horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Now this is not an active camera, but rather this is an active character which goes around and it can go off the screen. You can create multiple cameras with this, which will follow the character's movement and which will switch the camera based on the location he's going. For example, if he goes to the left side, right? You can have another camera on the left. If he goes to the right side, you can have another camera on the right, and you can make some special behaviors to switch between them. But this is basically the fixed camera angle. By the way, this can be like this, created like this. Basically, those are some of the smaller games which have smaller maps, and you can make just one area where the character does things. For example, pick up, he can like run like that. He runs really fast and do all those different things. This is more advanced level, which I won't be going over, but I just wanted to showcase this for you. And this is basically it for our tutorial. Thanks for watching, everyone, for great support. I hope this did help. If you have any additional questions, please leave them in the comment section and I will try to answer them. One of my subscribers and fans asked me about the Super Mario 64 game and if they could make a game with that, and I will say to them, yes, you can create anything you want with this game engine, because it's free and it's open source, and you can have all the different behaviors, all the different scripts actually imported in the game and use them and create something amazing. All you have to do is work hard, all you have to do is research before starting to create a game, and that's it. All the rest is just your own style, your own vision, your own work. Once again, thanks everyone for watching and have an amazing day.